let's talk about how we build on these animals. Okay, so all of these, rain garden bios, this is the retentive grading area. It starts out by excavating a depression, excavating a hole. Okay, if this is solid rock and you can't excavate, you don't have a site for rain garden. I'm on the board of directors of the County Conservation District. We just had our board meeting yesterday, and something came up that we had a couple permits come through where the one application, they were going to dynamite into the bedrock to form their depression for their rain garden. You can do that. First, I don't know where you're going to do any blasting in Allegheny County. Where are you going to get a permit, a blasting permit for Allegheny County, number one. Secondly, what do you think? Okay? Now, that got deferred to our engineer and our legal department to deal with that. But if you can't dig that hole, you can't do a rain garden. All right? So, digging the hole. This is a conveyance off the roof. This particular rain garden, there was originally an inlet. Here. So there was an inlet here, and this is old. This is some old work. This has been here for quite a while. And what we've done is we've actually just bricked up, extended this particular inlet, put this weir in here. Now, when I use the word weir, I'm probably misspeaking. This is actually the weir. This opening is the weir. This is what sets the elevation of your water. That's as high as the water's going to go. That freeboard from the top of my soil to my weir is going to be the depth of water we're going to have if we have a heavy rain. If we have a hurricane blowout, which we do get, and we boatload of rain, the top of this is actually open graded, so we're going to try to get some.
We dealt with transportation like that. But we ever feel with a bunch of knotweed.
Knotweed?
Yeah, we were trying to deal with this knotweed right now.
Okay.
We have this plastic over the top of it. We dug it out, but it's really.
I can talk about that. I will. A little further down here. Yeah, knotweed's a nightmare in these things. Again, one way to keep knotweed out of rain garden is don't get any in it when you're building the thing. Okay. The problem is it blows in, carries in, and walks across the street. But I'm going to talk about this. Finish up here a little bit. So what we're doing is we're putting in that gravel layer. Blending and mixing soil. I want you all to look at this. This is something we do. We use straw at times. Depending on how we're designing this, if I'm going to gravel to a sand mix to soil, we don't have any interface. But if we are going to go from this gravel layer to our soil layer, I'm creating an interface. I do not want a geotextile in here. Okay? Apparently this thing wants me to get done sooner. All right. This is fairly important. This is the old-fashioned way of doing septic systems. Septic trenches. Anybody ever dig through an old septic trench? You know what? It was full gravel, dirt, it was perfect, no input results. They used straw. They used to separate it. Actually, the DEP manual used to tell you to use straw. For some reason now, all these rain gardens, these engineers, we've got people using geotextiles. The geotextiles will plug up. When that geotextile plugs up, we're not getting any water out of the rain garden. That's a very, very common problem when I get failure calls from people. Contractors love not hiring me and then asking me a million questions when their jobs get screwed up. And I get a lot of calls on this problem, rain garden. So anyway, this is really jumping us ahead. So you're grading, you're planting, boom, boom, boom. You know, this is a finished product 2 years later. Okay? Now, that's a big hairball, right? Who in here thinks that's a big, hideous, weedy mess? Not good for Gannon on you guys. It's supposed to look that way. Okay? We want things to be a little wild and woolly in the rain garden. And the reason is that is going to be a dynamic plant population. There are going to be plants that we plant there that don't survive. This is not like you're lining up the yew bushes in front of Grandma's house and then putting 7 barberries in front of that and a helical DNA juniper at the front door, and you miss, 3 of them and you got a big problem. This plant population is dynamic. I don't care if somebody doesn't want to live in there. Go away. Somebody else is going to take your place. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a broad plant palette to try to find, a plant population that is going to be happy and thrive. I want very thick, dense cover. Okay? And the way you achieve that is by using multiple species. Now, does that look weedy to some people? Absolutely. Are people going to grumble and say, what did that do? Sure. But here's what you got to say. You got to have a sign, and there's a sign that says, I'm a rain gardener. I'm different. I'm not the front of Grandma's house. Okay? So, that's, this is the goal, that's what we're shooting for.